This week on The Wise Guys.
That they're going to be superstars straight out of college or whatever it is, and they're thinking they're going to make 150K and be living lavishly. Because let's be honest, a lot of young folks, they're bringing that mentality when they're in college back to the hood, and they're like, "Yo, you're a star. I want to be just like you."
Right.
So are they being duped here, or
Well, they're not being duped. It's just like whenever you receive outdated information, it just won't work. My great grandfather might have told you that being a milkman was a fantastic career.
Right.
I haven't seen a milkman in my entire life. What happened? It has been phased out.
Yeah.
I mean, like the degree, it's becoming so inflated. So many people have them that it's become irrelevant. Now, what do you really do? You have to look, towards building skills that are not common. You have to look towards fields that are not all. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Mark Pruden, and you're now tuning in to the Wise Guys podcast, brought to you by Flowered Concrete.
Yo, what's going on? This is your boy, Kevin Glad.
And this is Mark Pruden.
And we're back again for another week. Mark, how you doing, bro? How's everything going on with you, man? I feel as if, since all this, quarantine, all this other stuff started, we haven't really gotten a chance to talk about, what's been going on with us. How's life been for you as a real estate agent?
Life's been great, man. It's definitely a learning experience. Been an agent for a few months now, but seeing how COVID-19 has affected the market, definitely a bit challenging. But hey, man, it's all in the process. Gotta learn, learn how to navigate the road and move with the tide.
I'm with you, man. I agree. I'm with you on that. I'm proud of you, bro. I've seen you grow so much, and it's always good to see your fellow brother prosper,
Appreciate that, brother. Also, I actually had an African gray parrot hatch last night, so I'm currently raising him. Yep.
Congratulations to you.
Appreciate that, brother.
Literally fresh out the hatch.
Exactly. Yeah. Got to feed him every 2 hours around the clock, but I overfed him a little bit so I could set some time aside for the Wise Guys podcast. So let's get it done.
That's good to know, man. Shout out to you and all that you're doing.
How about you, brother? Yeah, what's going on with you? I know you have a lot to share with us.
Yeah, no, for sure. As I said on episode 26, last week's episode, still working on The Flower That Rose. I mean, at this point, the book is pretty much done.
Right.
But, I'm currently sending it out to, reviewers, so people can get a chance to read it, whatnot. And again, there will come a time where I will talk more about it. But, Flower That Rose, ladies and gentlemen, coming out 2021. I'll let you know once that time arrives. Once we hit AFTR season, as we like to call it, you know all about it. But it's a wonderful collection of poetry and as well as essays. That was really well done, handcrafted by myself, including the team of Eniola and as well as yourself. You wrote something in it too. So I think
Lovely.
It's really good.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of people really don't know all that goes into publishing a book. It's not just writing it up and printing it, man. It's so much other things, and it enlightened me because I'm not very familiar with the industry. So very eye-opening that it's a lot of work involved, man, in releasing these books.
Absolutely,
Yep.
bro. And just so you all know, this is who we really are, season 2. I don't want anyone to get confused or to get misconstrued. Don't get me wrong. We love the podcast, but this is who Mark and I really are outside of this. The podcast is just another venture that we decided to start because we felt as if we had a wealth and abundance of information to share with you all, and we wanted to grow as people, Mark and I, and we said, why not grow with people, and as opposed to just growing by ourselves. We have this information to share, and we're sure that they have info to share with us.
Exactly.
So yeah, man, I definitely am pushing this, and I've been working on that throughout the whole quarantine as well as summer. So I can't wait for when that time actually comes.
Sounds great, man. Looking forward to the release.
For sure. And then as of most recent, remember, I think back in episode 10, I talked to you about my new venture, working as a rehab therapist at a nonprofit for juvenile home for boys, and that's been great, man. We started June 8th. We got our first kid. He's been excellent, man. He's a great
awesome
kid. It's been great to work with him. We've been writing poems. We've been doing a lot of therapeutic reading. In terms of wise mind concepts, such as if this person tried to pressure you to do this, how would you go about avoiding that situation to not get in trouble?
Right.
How would you not avoid, going down in a situation where a friend would put you in a predicament where, there might be weapons in the car, and now you're getting in trouble by the cops because you didn't know,
Right.
Things like that. And we recently just added another kid, and he came to our program 2 days ago. So, hey man, I'm busy, bro. I'm working, and I got a couple of weeks to myself, and then I think second week of September, man, I'm back at the college, teaching English 102.
Hey, man, I mean, that's what it's all about. A lot of people talk about, how we have to uplift our people, and a lot of people are marching, but, you're actually in the trenches doing what you have to do, building up these young brothers. And a lot of people talk about it, but you're actually doing the work. So that's important, man.
Absolutely.
Very important. Yep.
Thank you. And I'm glad you said that, because I think that's going to segue into our episode for today. Episode 27, Mark, is called the Quarter Life Crisis.
Quarter life crisis, man.
Yeah, man. I think a lot of people can relate to it. And when I say quarter life crisis, I don't mean anyone who is 25. If you graduated from college and you haven't gotten a job yet, or you are post 22 and you're still trying to figure your life out, I mean, from 22 years old to like 27, 28, 29 years old right now,
Right.
You're in a quarter life crisis.
There we go. Yep.
So I just kind of wanted to, tackle it, and let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
All right, bro. So this first segment for today's show is called Real Life. All right, Real Life. I'm actually going to read this quote to you.
Okay.
I kind of want to get your thoughts on it before I
Oh, yeah.
answer your question. So this quote here says, because millennials are the most educated generation in history, barriers to entry to many fields have been lowered. This is from Dr. Felding, a behavioral psychologist, and this is from her book, Mastering Adulthood, all right? And another quote from her is that the internet and social media compound the problem with so much access to the perfectly curated lives of others. Our human tendency to turn to social comparisons in the absence of objective measures of success only exacerbates the anxiety. So what do you think about that from Dr. Felding, a behavioral psychologist?
I think that's very interesting. I mean, the first quote, it actually said that they are lowering the barrier to entry and not hiring it.
Yep, lowering the barrier to entry, not hiring it, and that they are the most educated generation in history.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a bit absurd that you can be so educated, but at the same time, it's almost irrelevant. I think they call this academic inflation, where there are so many people holding degrees. It is no longer something special. It is something normal. So it's almost as if it's a normal prerequisite to get a certain job. But now that everybody has this thing, I mean, it makes you a lot less desirable or valuable in terms of, when it comes to the employers.
Right.
So I think it's really tricky, man. And people will say, the bachelor's degree is now the high school diploma. You need to go for your master's. But what happens when the master's degrees become just as inflated as the bachelor's degrees? Where they can say, now you have to have a doctorate? I mean, sounds like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, get this one and you'll get a job. Okay, that one's not so good anymore. Get this one. Say, okay, I'm not playing this game anymore, sir. It's like, listen, man, you told me get the bachelor's and I did it. Now you're saying master's, I did that too. Now you're saying doctorate, I'm not putting any more money in this dumpster fire.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And the next quote that you mentioned regarding social media, I mean, we talked about this in one of the previous episodes on
14, The Art of Hate. Check it out. It's really good.
See, man, you got all the details always, man. But social media, it's a highlight reel. And a lot of people have it misconstrued, and they think that's someone's everyday life. That car that they took a picture in front of might be a rental. Like that hotel he took a picture in front of, he may have just walked past it, not walked in it. So we can't always look at this highlight reel and think it's real. I mean, it's almost as if we feel like we need to have a highlight reel just so people think we're okay. So even me, I keep a little, a couple pictures up from when I was working with the Nets. That's a little highlight, but I wasn't a coach, so I mean, how high is the highlight? It's just a picture to make someone say, "Oh, wow, that's interesting." But yeah, man, it's absolutely crazy. It's just we just have to keep in touch with the reality, because sometimes social media can really push things out of proportion.
on that matter, and I think I talked to you about this before, and again, episode 14, check it out. Mark and I talked about it, bro. So I'm going to be saying this again, but it was such a toxic time for me to be on social media.
Yeah.
When I was trying to get a job,
Yeah.
it was so crazy because you see everybody doing well and they have this and they have that, whatnot. That you start. I think it's called FOMO, the fear of missing out. It was really truly what that was, man.
Yeah.
It was FOMO, the fear of missing out, and it devalued my self-esteem a little bit. It made me start thinking that, excuse my language, but I wasn't shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It really made me feel as if, despite the matter of my intelligence and, I don't know how great of a writer or a public speaker that I was, that none of that mattered at the end of the day, because you're a bum, you're working at a college making like $200-300 every other week. So guess what? You're irrelevant. You don't matter. I had kids who would go to the college and then they graduated and then they came back 6 months later at the community college to pick up their degree, and they're like, "You're still here?"
Right.
Bro, when I tell you that made me feel like crap. It's almost as if you're trying to avoid that, and you're like, you know what? Let me just stay off social media, or you know what? I'm not as bad as I think I am. Everybody has a season, as they say,
right?
And everyone's time will come. But when a 21, 22-year-old, when a 21, 22-year-old motherfucker comes into the building to obtain their degree and stops by the theater department to say hi to their old professors and whatnot, and then they see you sitting there and they're like, "You're still here?" That makes you feel like crap, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you're 25, you're trying to figure it all out. You're like, shit, I guess I'm not worth it.
But the person that asks if you're still here may not even be doing better than you. So it's just one of those questions that people feel inclined to ask.
It's true.
It's like when I say, "Hey, how's everything?"
Right.
I may not care how everything is with you, but it's just a courteous way to say hello.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, man. It's like those things that we say that we may not really, be trying to say that.
You know what? You're absolutely right, because it was actually a young lady, a girl who said this.
Right.
Honestly, I think it was a shock for her to still see me there. It's just like, I don't know this black guy. I have nothing else to say to this dude. So the only thing I can really say to him is, "You're still here." What are you doing here? And I don't think she meant it personally to insult me. I think she was just like, "Oh, you're still here." I graduated back in what was it at the time? May. Now it's November 2015. And you're still here.
Right, yeah, it wasn't like a judgment, like, "Oh, you're still here." And it's just like, wow, you're still here. I mean,
It's one of those positions, too, where I'm sure a lot of those students have seen, college assistants come and go.
Right.
They wouldn't expect to see someone there past 3-4 months.
Exactly.
And the fact that I'll be honest with you, the fact that I worked there for 2 years and a half, I was like an anomaly. No one never really stays there that long,
Yep, absolutely.
So I don't know, man. I just thought it was really interesting. And, man, it made me feel some type of a way, but I tried not to, let that bother me too much, because at the end of the day, and we talked about it on episode 14, again, Art of Hate. Check it out. Episode 14 is really good. We talked about it on that episode, and as well as, I know you weren't there, but we talked about it on episode 13, which was Young and Broke Part 3 with Mandy Velez. Shout out to her once again for coming on in the first season. You don't know everybody's predicaments.
Very true.
You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what the situation is at home. You don't know how much their rent is, whether they're out on their own, whether they're paying loans. So before you go and you presume something or you judge, be sure to get all the facts and the statistics first.
Right.
It kind of goes back to what you always say. Worry about yourself.
Yeah, because if you're digging for statistics and facts, man, you got a bigger problem. You got too much time.
I'm being 100% honest with you. I mean, we were having a conversation off the record when we were walking here.
Right.
We will not sit on here. But,
right.
Other than that, though, I think the Kev you know now today, me personally at 29 years old, compared to the Kev you knew back then at 23, 24, is a totally different person.
Right.
And I'm going to be 100% honest with you, man. I was very insecure. I was very insecure, and I have low self-esteem, too.
Right.
A lot of things played into that, obviously. I was in a very tumultuous relationship at the time. I felt like a bum because of the job that I had.
Right.
And it's kind of like what we said on episode 14, when you were like, in regards to my dad, he promised you that, you get this degree and everything will change, but it's not working.
Right, yeah,
said,
right.
And all that got to me, and so, you're still here? that was like the cream of the crop. It was like, all right, she'll be down.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
To me, that was like the little cherry on top, like with the shaking blocks that like just crushed the whole entire.
It's like my day was already going bad. Now you just made it 10 times worse. Thanks.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Oh man, it was so tough. But Mark, the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of young people right now are currently going through this. There's a young lady I know at work. She told me that, the fact that she was in a sorority group, she was a soror sister. She did all these things at her college, university. She was very well liked, popular.
Right.
She studied criminology, all this stuff, whatnot. She literally thought out here, and she thought she was going to be a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And she said, I realized when I stepped out into the real world that my bachelor's degree didn't mean shit. I felt as if I had to start. She was like, I felt as if I was starting all over. Like literally, my whole life I was told, go to school, get this degree, here's what's gonna happen. And then she graduated, and she was like, oh, this really don't mean shit to y'all, motherfuckers. Like,
right.
It really don't matter.
It's true.
Why do you think a lot of young folks feel that way? Are they being duped to believing that they're going to be superstars straight out of college or whatever it is, and they're thinking they're going to make $150K and be living lavishly? Because let's be honest, a lot of young folks, they're bringing that mentality when they're in college back to the hood, and they're like, yo, you're a star, I want to be just like you.
Right.
So are they being duped here, or
Well, they're not being duped. It's just like whenever you receive outdated information, it just won't work. My great grandfather might have told you that being a milkman was a fantastic career.
Right.
I haven't seen a milkman in my entire life. What happened? It has been phased out.
Yeah.
I mean, like the degree, it's becoming so inflated. So many people have them that it's become irrelevant. Now what do you really do? You have to look, towards building skills that are not common. You have to look towards fields that are not already saturated. And I'm not talking down upon the degree, because I believe it's a fantastic accomplishment, and it takes a lot of effort, time, and just perseverance to actually obtain one. But it is not the key to success in the United States any longer.
Right.
Or anywhere.
It's interesting you say that, because this totally segues into our first question of the day, a part of the real life segment. And that question, Mark, is we live in a world where young adults feel as if they have a range of opportunities available to them. Is this necessarily true? And I wanted to repeat, I think, one of your quotes from a prior episode, that growing up, we received this fairy tale that we could be whatever we wanted to be.
Right. Well, yes, that I believe that you can't. Well, I shouldn't use the word "can." That's very negative. But not everyone is going to be anything they want to be. I mean, sure, if you work hard at something, you can. I believe mentally that's usually 80% of the battle. But to say one can be anything, I mean that's. It sounds very negative, but I mean, if we really look at it from a sociological perspective, there's a totem pole, and not everyone has the ability, or the network, or the to actually pursue anything. But that being said, there's a wealth of opportunities. There's actually more opportunities out now than ever before, thanks to the internet. I mean, when it comes to the job market, yes, the job market is tough, but this has become a gig economy where, side hustles and different endeavors that you can access through the internet are becoming more popular than ever before. I know of YouTubers making almost $40,000 per month putting out videos on their respective topics of expertise. I know of people, there's Instagram models are making tons of money per post. I mean, we've got options trading, stocks trading. Sure, I mean, it's a long, it's a learning curve, but there's many different ways to make money. And, like everyone, I'm exploring different opportunities as well. I don't have the key to life, but, we're all searching one thing at a time. So we just have to open our minds instead of just thinking towards what fantastic job can I get. You can get your job, but what else can I do to utilize my skills and make money using the internet? Because, like Gary Vee says, you might like you might like collecting coins. You can start a YouTube channel about your coin collecting. I guarantee it's possible for you to get 100,000 followers. You know, because if you're interested in something, there's almost a guarantee there's someone else out there interested in it as well, and that person probably knows a person interested in that as well. So I mean, it's not the hardest thing to really create a following and make money on Instagram or any social network.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. And with that being said, ladies and gents of the Wise Guys, we're actually, we talked about this prior, Mark. We're actually going to, for our second segment of the show today, we're actually going to go live on IG and try to, get some questions, maybe,
Right.
get some viewership in there, see what people are thinking about this topic, because it's what a lot of people go through, and it doesn't necessarily get discussed, especially if you're someone who has raised yourself on a pedestal. And I don't mean that in a negative connotation. I mean, like, you worked hard for your degree. You
Right.
really put the time and the effort into, better your life and to change your life, and you think that that's going to do something for you. But we want to get the thoughts and the perspectives of the listeners, of the viewers, and kind of get their side of it, in addition to what they have to share on this topic, because I don't think this is something you and I can do just alone. So let's try to do that. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with the Wise Guys, and let's see if we can get some thoughts and questions in there from other folks, and we'll try to go back and forth with them and see what they're talking about. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
All right, you already know what it is. The Wise Guys. We'll be back.
What's up, yo? It's at Life with Ace with the upcoming brand from Connecticut, Eternal Life, no cap. When you shop with us, it's more than just clothes. It's a lifestyle, for real, for real. I was able to link up with the Wise Guys podcast, and when you mention Wise Guys while ordering, you could get 10% off your next purchase. You can find us on Instagram at eternal__life__. Remember, the promo code is Wise Guys at eternal__life__. Buy black, y'all. Peace and love. No cap.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's going on?
We're back.
We just took a little brief commercial break, but we're back again with the Wise Guys podcast. As we said prior to going on break, we're talking about the, quarter life crisis.
Exactly.
We're
Yep.
talking about how the quarter life crisis affects us as a generation.
Right.
Being, anywhere from 22 to 29, graduating college and trying to figure out your life, right, Mark? And it like I said before, a lot of people feel duped. You know what I'm saying? They feel
Absolutely.
They feel like they worked so hard for this damn degree, and like now, it's just like really, really, really coming to them in terms of like trying to like get their lives together.
Yeah.
So as I promised, Mark and I promised prior to going on break, we said that we would be back, on IG Live. So right now, if you're hearing this audio-wise, Mark and I have tapped into our, the Wise Guys NYC IG page, and we are live. We are live on Instagram right now. Prior to this episode dropping, we're a couple weeks out, but when it drops, it's going to drop.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about the quarter life crisis. So for those of you tuning in on IG, as Mark would say, he said this on episode 14, hey, how are you all doing today? Again, we're talking about the quarter life crisis. So a question I'm going to pose to you all, and maybe we could pin it too. A question I want to pose to you all is, has the quarter life crisis hit you ever? So whether you're 22, 25, 28, 29, has the quarter life crisis hit you in your life? Have you graduated from college and found out that all the opportunities you thought you would have had within your major, did they dry up? Were you not able to, do things according to, what you wanted to do? So with the quarter life crisis, were you, has any opportunities you thought you'd have they dried up? Were they never presented to you? Were they never, just there? So please be sure to plug in your questions along the way, and Mark and I here will try to answer you guys and talk a little bit more about it. So Mark, I know it's the middle of the day, and this is technically like a Wise Guys pop-up. I know a lot of people
Right.
expect us to go on. But I figure, to kind of give them time to warm up and to come on, I figure I'd ask you this question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So our second question of the day, which is it's part of our second segment, light at the end of the tunnel. The second question is, how do we learn? How do we learn what we can from such a crisis, that being the quarter life crisis, in order to transition towards happiness as well as success within our lives?
Yes.
Again, so the question is, how do we learn what we can from such a crisis, that being the quarter life crisis,
Mm-hmm.
to transition toward happiness as well as finding success within our lives as young people?
Well, I think a lot of it comes from thinking for yourself. A lot of the time we take a lot of advice from other people, and there's many people that even take like major lifestyle advice from strangers, from family members, and we have to think for ourselves because you can fail at something you don't like and you can fail at something you like, so you might as well try something you like instead of blaming grandma for telling you to be, to major in history. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's just a matter of thinking for yourself and just trying new things, keeping an eye on the new developments in technology. And here's why you would have to keep your eye on the developments of technology. Let's say you went to school, to get into a certain industry. Well, let's say the industry was, I don't know. Let's see. Well, yeah. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, you can want to get into an industry, but if you don't research it thoroughly and look at the developments in that industry, you can find out by the time you get out of college, which is 4 years later, that industry is dead. Right. It doesn't take long for a job market to deteriorate. Right. There's so many jobs that they're going to be obsolete. Like when you're going to get a bachelor's, you're literally saying, I hope that in 4 years this opportunity is still available. Right. And that's I don't think that's a smart way to look at it, because you don't know what the hell's going to happen in 4 years. Yeah. So you might as well know, you want to know the job market that you're getting into. So that's pretty much my thoughts when it comes to that.
I'm with you on that. When we talk about this quarter life crisis, man, I feel as if a lot of people aren't happy. A lot of people are stressed, bothered. And again, I talked about in the first segment about me feeling a certain type of way.
Right.
I'm not going to share his name out there, but I'll put his name out there. But my brother, my half brother, he's got his bachelor's and his master's. He went straight, one degree to the next, and he's trying to stay afloat. Meaning mentally, like it's like I did all this school, I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do, and I'm still out here struggling. Imagine you put all that time into school, thinking that you were going to get an investment, and get a return on that. Imagine if you went to school, you put in the time, 6 years of school, 4 years of college, 2 years of grad school, and you thought you were going to get a return on that investment. And coming out of it, all you get is, congratulations, here's your degree. All right, change the world. And then 2-3 weeks later, you're in depression, you're drinking tequila, you're in the middle of your room watching a basketball game, and you're just depressed because you realize that what you thought you were going to get out of it is not what's happening. Like I remember I told you again, master's degree, right?
Right.
You should be making so much more, Kev.
In theory. Right. In theory.
I don't know, man. Like, why do you feel as if so many people place their faith on this, and then when they're crushed, they feel a certain type of way?
Well, I mean, you can look at college the way some people look at relationships. Right. If you were into a relationship for 7 years, which is the amount of time it takes to get a master's degree, then sorry about that. Yeah, if you took 7 years out of your life to get a master's degree, that's a huge chunk of your life. We're talking almost 1/3 of your life you dedicated to getting this accolade, and then once you got it, there was no opportunity for you. Yeah. Just like, I think it's a matter of it's wasted time and just wasted energy, because I mean, as you know, you've done it. There's a lot of work and energy that goes into this, when it comes to getting degrees. Yeah. And to get the degree and find out that it was all for nothing, that hurts, man. That really hurts. And everybody that told you would be fine, everybody at church that was like, oh man, you gonna be something. I'm sorry I use that voice, but I've heard that voice a lot. You in college? Oh wow. Okay, so now I've learned that old guy knew nothing of this current job market. So it's tough, man.
It's super tough.
It's like being in a relationship and then for 7 years and then getting cheated on, and you're like, hey man, but nothing. Yeah. You're screwed.
You got cheated on.
Yeah. So.
Wow, man. No, that's tough. That's really, really, really tough. Yeah, man. I feel as if like just so many people, so many young people out here nowadays, they have it locked in their mind that they're going to start, that they're going to make tons and tons of money, that they're going to, just blow up, shoot to the moon, whatever, whatnot. And that's okay. That's fine to think that, because if you come from a place of poverty, in a place of impoverishment, you absolutely naturally want to better your life,
right?
And take yourself as well as your family into a whole entire new tax bracket. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But then at the same time, it's like what you always say: the blind leading the blind.
Right.
We don't need you out here promoting something that's really not going to work. And I think you've said this to me millions and millions of times before. And I don't know why I had to hear it on another podcast to know that what you said was true. But that doesn't mean I don't value your opinion. But sometimes you need to hear things more than once to really take it in.
Yep.
And you've always said, when it comes to building generational wealth for your family or growing in general, you can't take that degree and pass it down to your kid.
Right.
What is he going to do with daddy's 5 degrees?
That's right.
How is he going to take daddy's associates, bachelor's, his 2 masters, and his PhD, and as well as his honorary degree, and make a life out of it?
Right. It's true. With assets, they always say you can't take it with you. With a degree, you might as well take it with you because it's not helping anyone else.
Right.
It's really tough, man. And even with careers, some people make their career their identity. Like, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm this, I'm that. If you're not using that job to create generational wealth, that job's going to die with you. It helps your child in no way for you to be a great employee if you're not investing the money. So it's really something, man. It really is.
Yeah, man. Any other ideas, or if not ideas, any other matters on this topic that we should talk about before we move on?
Oh yeah, I see someone in the comments said we don't know where to start. That's true.
Dang, who said that? We'd love to shout you out. Can you see their name?
Oh, I think that's John.
John.
Yeah, John 275.
Oh, okay. Shout out
Yeah,
to
so
John 275. Shout out
it's
to
true.
you.
I think that's a cycle of poverty, though.
Yeah.
It's a cycle of poverty. It's almost as if we're not given the information and we're not hand-fed this information, so we don't know how to obtain greatness or wealth. That's the cycle. They don't want you to have that information, but we have to know that the internet has so much available to us, and even though it seems hard and it seems impossible, there's something that can help you on the internet. There's some gem out there, because just following a few influencers, I feel like I've gained access to information that one should only receive if they're in a wealthy family. But there's brothers on the internet giving these gems away for free. So, guys, always be open to new information and follow a couple of these Instagram pages and Twitter pages that speak on finance, because they're giving free gems, man. They're really giving us access to things that were previously only accessible to, from people with wealth. You've got so many places like Earn Your Leisure. They're an excellent page, and they give excellent information regarding wealth building, investing, businesses. You've got there's so many like hood estates. They talk about building wealth through trucking. You can own a truck and not have to drive it.
What's that one page we follow on the gram, man? They're always giving out information. The woman who was investing in Philly.
Aisha Selden. She has a page as well where she drops tremendous gems regarding building wealth through real estate investing.
What about that page? That page in general, we follow them. I forget their name.
We follow them.
One good one I think you guys should look into is Top Earn Process. That's another good one. I check them out from time to time. But there's this one podcast. Their logo's green. I know you know which one I'm talking about. It's like Business Wealth something.
Wow.
Wealth Renaissance. There we go.
Yes.
Wealth Renaissance. I'm sorry. I would not allow us to end this podcast without putting them out there.
Yep, for sure.
My life has changed gradually, even a little bit, just following some of the things that they've been sharing.
Absolutely. It's just so many pages. We can name 150,000 different pages that are dropping gems, and just be open to the knowledge, because it's out there. And almost everything I know, and I don't know a lot, compared to millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, but the wealth of knowledge that I've gained was all through YouTube and Instagram. I read books as well, but the majority came from YouTube and Instagram. And I kind of equate that to a master's degree. Kev hates when I say this, but the reason why is you can't show me too many people with a master's that have a certain level of knowledge when it comes to wealth building, business, and just owning assets. Yeah, they can tell me how to write an essay, but can you tell me how to build wealth? Probably not.
Remember the and I think you shared this on the podcast before. Remember you walked into that business class one time?
Oh, yeah.
You mind giving that story again?
Yeah, so I'm in this business class, and I'm excited about, becoming an entrepreneur. So the guy begins to talk about, the class. I realized he wasn't really talking about actual business. He was speaking from a book, which I can do. I could have probably took his job right there.
Right.
And I said, sir, after class, I said, sir, what kind of businesses have you been into? I'm young. I'm trying to network. He says, oh, no, I've never owned a business. I never went back to that class. That was the nail in on the board for me, man, because you have people with no knowledge thinking they're giving knowledge. Mm-hmm. Don't read a book to me. I can read my own book, man. And why am I paying this tuition for someone to read a book to me? I can do that at home. Yeah. He's not giving me any knowledge or experience. You're right. And you can learn more working at a pizza restaurant than you can in a college class.
No, it's true.
For business. Because
it's true. Just see how,
exactly.
departments run.
Yep.
Take notes of that. If you're really serious, it's really true. Even at my job right now, just, I think maybe, I'm not too sure, I might want to start my own nonprofit one day. Because you know how I am. You know the type of dude I am. I might want to start my own nonprofit one day that focuses on the matter of, social justice,
right,
and racial injustice in regards to, young black men that are incarcerated, just things for our community because people need help. I'm getting all the experience that I possibly can in the world right now because my program manager, she's a very strong, powerful black woman. Mm-hmm. I do my job as a rehab therapist, but sometimes I'm in the control room watching all the monitors, so I'm learning about that side of it.
Right.
I'm learning about visitation, the families of the kids allowed to come in, what to do, what not to. So I'm learning protocols. And at first I thought that was very boring, but if you want to run a business, you have to understand how each and every single aspect of a business is run.
Right.
And I think it goes the same with the degree and what we were talking about. If you want to graduate from college and get something out of it that will be substantially beneficial to your life, you need to understand what you're getting into, what you're majoring in, and will you get a return on investment immediately? Will it benefit your life at a pronto and an ASAP rate?
It's very true. I mean, if you really think about it, ask anyone with a college degree if college has prepared them to truly grow and build wealth in society. Mm-hmm. I think that most of them would say no. Yeah. College has taught you how to write essays and how to research. Yeah. But when I speak on building wealth and building businesses and actually excelling socially, I don't see it. I mean, it showed you how to make friends, and that's great. But we're talking about real life, man. Once you leave that bubble of college, it's not, free food at the cafeteria anymore. It's not party for $3. It's not, get your textbook for $160 and it'll last you the whole semester. Now we're in real life. There's real bills now, and your sorority is not going to pay your bills. I love sororities and I love fraternities.
Yes.
Because they will come for me.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, I believe it's an awesome networking opportunity. But what I'm saying is, are they teaching you how to build wealth? Are they teaching you how to excel outside of your professional life? A job is not going to make you rich. If it did, I'd have one.
And with that being said, we'll leave it right there. Let's move on to the word to the wise, if you don't mind.
Definitely.
I'll let you get this one first again. Just vibe off it. You want to go first?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So what would your word to the wise be today in regards to the quarter life crisis, especially those checking us out now?
Man, it's just, I have to say perseverance because it's tough, man. I was going to go to college myself and take out student loans if my parents would have let me, and I'd be in the same situation. But if you just persevere, I mean, we're all going to fail. Failing is the best part of life because that's the best lessons. That's the way you win. You can't learn by winning. You learn by failure, and you learn by losing. You learn from those losses, and take your L's with pride, man. If you got a degree and you can't find a job in your field, and you don't even like the field anymore. Take it with pride.
Absolutely.
And just keep marching on, man, because there's so much opportunities, man. I am dumbfounded by the people making $50,000 a month on YouTube. $50,000 a month on YouTube. YouTube didn't ask them for a degree.
Right.
So it's like, never give up, man. I believe in every single person. Can we be anything?
Yeah.
I don't know, but can we become successful and build wealth? Absolutely. There's people making, well, that's not a good example. I shouldn't say that. But there was a guy who made minimum wage all his life, and he died a millionaire.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And he just saved his money, invested. So, I mean, sure, cost of living is factored in too, but he found a way.
Yeah.
And we just all have to find a way, man. That's all we can do.
That's a fact. I just wanted to shout out Matt Goldsmith, 97. I was thinking about 23 years old. This is perfect for you, bro. Matt says, "Hi guys, I haven't had a quarter crisis yet, but I feel this lockdown has been a blessing. Some would say this time has been the worst of their life, but I have learned so much. Thanks, guys." We appreciate you, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah, man, appreciate you, brother. I mean, it's true. When's the last time we had this much free time? Brother Matt was probably on the internet, learning as much as he can about his respective field or any topic that he was interested in. Maybe brother Matt had to work a lot, and he wasn't able to dig into these pools of knowledge, and he's coming out stronger.
And you know what though, bro? I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, but I think that was the push of having our economies get opened back up and stuff like that. They don't want us. So I don't think they're thinking about it too deep, but I wouldn't be surprised if a certain sector of the government wouldn't want us being too far involved to quarantine for a couple of reasons. The economy, obviously, one, work, whatever, whatnot. But like, imagine if there were some people or are some people within the economy or within the federal government that's like, I don't know if I want too many of these people really using their downtime and realize they don't really need us. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Think about that.
That's true. So yeah, I mean, that's amazing. I mean, they've organized Instagram and Facebook perfectly. I went on Instagram. I was scrolling. 3 days had passed.
Yeah. That's why I have to take a break. And yo, we are distracted.
Yeah.
We are constantly. We don't have no time for ourselves. So this felt like I'm an adult now. I'm a grown man, but this whole quarantine period felt like a college summer break, but being paid for it and having to sit down as a grown man and say, I need to figure out things to do to better my life.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. The first few weeks, I got off track.
Me too.
I thought I was on vacation.
Me too. Me too, bro. But then you know what happens? After 21 to 30 days, it becomes a habit. So then you start to force yourself like, all right, I'm going to be home for a good 2-3, who knows how long. Now it's time to get to work.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I'm a workhorse, so I'm used to being out and about, man. I got depressed. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Yeah, man. I'm used to doing stuff, you know what I mean? And now I'm in a house I can't leave.
Right.
Whoa, man. There's not enough things on TV, man. I wasn't even turning my TV on. There's nothing on it. Yeah, man. I experienced some depression, man. I was just like, what the?
A lot of people were playing video games. I think they came out better people.
I think you can go places in the video game, so I think that, Grand Theft Auto, you go to the store, you go drive in a car.
Oh, man. Well, thank you first and foremost for your word to the wise. My word to the wise, I'm going to cheat a little today. I know we have our cheat days.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually say 2 words. I'm going to say patience and passion, man.
Yeah.
Because I felt as if during my time working at Queensboro as a college assistant, trying to figure it all out together, I had to have the passion to write my books, to do, still, produce great poems, perform poetry, still do things that I love, which kept me sane, man. Having a passion, having an outlet. But then I still had to be patient to work through, not getting hired, to eventually obtaining a master's degree. And then now my life is starting to shift a little bit because now I'm moving to Connecticut and I'm a teacher.
Right.
And that wasn't the end result for me, but it got me somewhere, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think patience and passion is really, really, really important.
Definitely.
Any other comments there? Or if not, we'll close this thing out.
Yeah, one brother said it's always great to try new things. I appreciate that, brother. I mean, Kev, you can attest to that. I mean, you're a master of experimentation.
Right.
You don't care.
Yeah, we just talked about this. We just talked about this
Yeah.
commercial break.
You don't care.
I don't care.
Oh, I'm quitting. Oh, I'm trying something new. It's like, Kev, what the? Nope. He's just, you're the master of your own life, and you've realized that. You are in control.
Absolutely.
If you get stuck somewhere, it's because you stuck yourself,
Right.
and you don't allow it, man. That's what I always admire about you, man. You're playing by the rules, but there are no rules for you. You do it your way.
Yeah.
And society always has these norms. They tell us we should do this, we shouldn't do this, we should want stability, we should want to be comfortable. I'm not falling for that trick.
No.
Yeah.
I can lose with God on my side because I feel
we definitely need God.
But I could lose a job tomorrow, Mark, and within 2-3 weeks, I might be depressed for like 2-3 days, but within 2-3 weeks, I'm my chipper self again. I'm like, I'm gonna make it. I'm just pushing and striving. I don't stay down too long.
Right.
Type of mentality. And I think you need to have that mentality to lose big and win big.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to have faith in your own abilities. If you don't have faith in your abilities, you won't take chances like that.
Yeah.
But when you have faith in your own abilities and you truly think that there is no way you can lose, there is no way. Yeah. Because even if a lottery player, I mean, I don't advise anyone to play the lottery because, you're burning money. But if I play the lottery all my life and I lose every single day, I do this for 10 years, and then I win 100 million, I'm going to look like a hero.
No one's going to remember any of those a million losses you had prior.
They will not say Mark played the lotto for 10 years and lost for 10 years and then won. They're going to say Mark just won the lottery. So, I don't advise anybody to play the lottery, but, just look at it towards your own life. It's like they will not remember the losses. They will only remember the win. And you only need to win once.
Right.
Think about all of the ideas that Mark Zuckerberg had that failed. And then Facebook, boom. Amazon, boom. All of these large companies are the product of failed ideas.
Yeah.
Every large company is built on failed ideas.
That's true.
And they climbed on top of those failed ideas.
That's very true.
So it's really like a, it's a beautiful thing, yeah.
That's a good point in regards to what you just said.
I appreciate that, Matt. Yeah, Matt, yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate you for tuning in.
Definitely.
But yeah, we just have to do all we can and keep rolling,
Absolutely.
Keep punching. Because eventually, if you keep punching, you'll eventually hit someone.
It's 100%. I caught that reference. Shout out to boxing, shout out to Matt, shout out to Margarita, shout out to John, shout out to Jimmy. Oh, our boy Jimmy's going to be on episode 35. All right. Shout out to our boy Jimmy. He joined for a little bit. He's going to be on episode 35. All right. Which is, what is episode 35? If I'm not mistaken. Breaking Chains.
Breaking Chains.
So shout out to the boy Jimmy. Shout out to everybody who joined.
Shout out to Ray that just joins. Ray, that's a pretty interesting name.
Yes. Shout out to her. Actually, she follows the page and she actually liked some of the questions we put up in regards to like how to better our podcast. Do we need more women on the show and things like that? So, I say that to say like we want women voices and we want
absolutely very important.
Show. So shout out to Ray for that because I don't know if she fully tunes into the show like that, but I think she was starting to get an interest towards the end of last season. So
right.
Shout out to you.
There we go.
And we got and if I'm not mistaken, we got a few women coming on the show this season.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot. It was a lot at once. We had many guests at once. It was a beautiful thing.
For sure.
But absolutely great. Okay, yeah, Matt. God bless you guys. You're both smart, and I'm hoping for good days for you both. Yeah, we appreciate that, Matt. Man, thanks for the love, man.
If you haven't already, man, please be sure to check out the podcast because our podcast is geared towards changing people's hearts, minds, and futures, and dropping gems to evolve and grow within your everyday life. And we're not just saying that for you. We ourselves, Mark and I, we're 29, 26. We're still growing, so we're still trying to figure it out. So we do not have all the answers.
Absolutely not.
So with that being said, I guess we can kind of close out the show. So ladies and gents, with this podcast, you can check us out online. We're at The Wise Guys NYC. Again, at The Wise Guys NYC. You can check us out there. You can stream us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, YouTube, on and on. I think this season I'm still not going to have us on SoundCloud. I still haven't worked that out.
That's okay, man. I mean, there's so many options. It's just a beautiful thing to be on so many platforms.
Without a doubt.
And I know that there's plenty of options for the audience to go towards. I mean, especially YouTube. Everybody's got YouTube. Yeah. Just click the link and
visit our website, please. It's www.floweredconcrete.net/TheWiseGuysNYC. All right. It's in our Instagram bio. If you click the link tree in our bio, you'll find it. So please be sure to check us out there. All right. Next week's episode 28, is actually a really, really good one. It's called The Hamster Wheel.
The Hamster Wheel.
So it's actually a continuation of this conversation in a way. It's like a spin-off episode.
Oh, that sounds good to me, man. I'd love to talk about it.
It's going to be really good.
It's a beautiful thing being on this podcast, man.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm glad to be back here with you, back in Brooklyn.
Absolutely.
Man, we're here. We're rocking.
We're rocking. Also, Bitcoin's rocking. It's up 13%.
You heard that from Mark only. Mark first. Mark in the market. So we're doing it all season long, all right? We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
That's the main thing. And I guess it's time to wrap it up.
It is time to wrap it up, all right? We've been talking too much, all right? We'll be back next week, though, all right? So, as I said at the beginning of the show, this is your boy, Kevin Ablad.
And this is Mark Pruden.
And we are the Wise Guys Podcast. We'll see you next week.
Stay wise.